Hey, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Esther and I make videos about pretty much anything that's happening in my life at the moment. This video is going to be, I guess, a bit more of a serious topic. So I'm going to be talking about PCOS. So I got diagnosed 1.5 years ago. So I'm going to just kind of talk about like my symptoms and stuff first, and then just start at the beginning, and then basically up to where we are right now. My period when I was 10, first few times was okay, but then after that, like they were very heavy to the point like I would soak through like my pajama. Like I would have like pads on, but like I would soak through them, soak through my pajamas. It would be onto the mattress, like blood would be everywhere. And I had very painful periods as well. So basically from 10, 11 up till 14, all the pain relief I was getting was like Panadol or ibuprofen. And my mom would go to the doctor and they just give me like Panadol, ibuprofen and stuff like that. And then eventually, finally when I was 14, they agreed to put me on the pill, which seemed like a great solution at the time, and it worked. Like I had, my periods were regular, they were a lot lighter, I didn't have any pain, I could live a pretty normal life. And I've discussed this in my birth control video as well, so I won't go into too much detail about the whole history of my birth control stuff. But basically I was on that pill for 10 years, then I had to go off it because I had migraines with auras. And then I was off it for like a short amount of time, and then I went back onto a different one because the pain and stuff just came back. Eventually I decided around, I think I was 24 or 25, to completely go off hormonal birth control, which I did. It took 2.5 years for my period to come back somewhat regular. It was still not super regular, like not regular like normal people regular, but it was still like anywhere. Cycles were from anywhere between 13 and like 70 days or something, but that was better than the 2.5 years before that. Also, I got really bad acne when I went off the pill. Like it was like my cheeks. I have a video I think about my skincare stuff, and you can see it before, but like I had acne like really bad, like around my jaw, on my cheeks. Eventually I did manage to sort of fix that with skincare routine and stuff like that. I also started getting hair growth, which I did have a little bit. Like even in high school, I would have like, sometimes I would have like a black hair or something pop up on my chin, and like a friend or something would just someone would just pluck it, and that was it. But once I went off this pill, oh my god, I got like, I'll put footage in here. But it was like black hairs like on my chin, like I call it my beard. It wasn't so bad here, but it was like here, and then the last like year or so it got a lot worse. It got on my cheeks, on my neck. I get random patches of hair sometimes like here, or like here on my arm. It's very weird. When I went onto a different pill, my GP said that that might also help with the hair growth, but it didn't. But yeah, it was just like, and they were really thick hairs, so it's not like at one point, like I had to shave daily to get rid of it, because even getting it waxed, that was horrible because it wouldn't stick. It was so thick and so stubborn, these hairs, that if they would wax it, they would not come out. So they would have to do it by hand. Like I remember going to a place one time that did threading as well. So after get it waxed, they waxed it and it just did not come out. So then they had to thread it. Holy hell, that hurt. That hurts. And it's expensive. Like it was like $60 or something to get that done. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this every like 2 weeks, because also it grows back really fast. So I sort of stopped doing that. I'm currently getting it laser, so I've had 3 treatments and it's looking a lot better. But so that was one of the major other issues I had. Like the acne. Just my period was still irregular. Like, it was still anywhere from like 13 till 70 days. it would not become regular. So the first time I went to a GP about this was probably when I was 24, maybe 25. And this was before I had sex. So they did not want to do an internal ultrasound. So they just did they just did one like on my tummy. They didn't see anything in there because they thought maybe it could be endometriosis as well. They did a blood test, so they checked all my hormones. And they said everything was normal, and that was it. And they were just like, well, sometimes it's just unexplainable period pain, and there's not really anything you can do about it. So I was like, well, okay, that's great. So then I met my partner. And then I was kind of like, well, we do want kids eventually. So I went to a GP that's local to here that actually someone recommended to me, that she was, and said that she was really good with like women's health, and like she helped someone else like with endometriosis and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'll go and see her. So I got into her. Luckily, because pretty much soon after that, she closed like her book, so she doesn't take any new patients, and she hasn't for like 2 years now. But yeah, so I went to see her, told her my symptoms. She went and looked at like all my lab work and stuff that I had done previously, and she was like, yeah, this definitely is PCOS. So at least I know, I guess. But also because we do want to like have kids eventually, so that's also why I went to see her. I was like, well, is there anything like I should be doing, anything I could do? So we did another blood test. All my hormones and stuff were good. The only thing was that my iron, it was still within normal, but it was like on the lower side. So she was like, well, before getting pregnant, like try and get your iron up. And then I did for a little bit go back on the pill because we didn't want to have kids just yet. And let's say we were not very good about the condoms for a while there. So I went back on the pill, which I talk about that in a different video. Not for less than a year. I was on it for less than a year. I went off that, and then within 6 weeks I got my period back, and that was December last. I stopped taking it in November last year, and got my period back 6 weeks later, and it has been fairly regular since then, like 28 to like 33 days or something like that. So that's really good. Yeah, I tried some supplements for like a little bit, but they were so expensive and I didn't feel like they were really doing anything, so I just used them up and then just didn't buy them again. The only thing really I've done different, I think, is I did like a kind of like a workout fitness program with a personal trainer online. She's on YouTube actually, so if you want to find her, her YouTube is Fit with Brits, and her Instagram I think is the same. I can link it down below, but basically she is a personal trainer, and she basically I did the group sessions because that was cheaper. Like otherwise she does do one-on-one clients as well, but that was kind of out of my budget. So I did an 8-week program with her, and then I did a 12-week program with her. And I feel like the only thing really I massively changed, obviously you count like calories and stuff and in that program and you work out more. But the main thing I changed in my diet was I ate more protein. So I'm wondering, I don't know if there's any science behind this, but I feel like eating the protein has potentially helped my cycle to be more regular. So I'm just kind of continuing to do that. And it's still been regular. I've been using an app called Natural Cycles to track like my ovulation and stuff. So it works based on your temperature. And then I do ovulation tests during that time as well, just to see what's happening. It seems like I am ovulating, because that is the issue often with PCOS, that you don't ovulate or not ovulate as often, so you have less chance to get pregnant because you don't ovulate as much, which obviously is a concern. And when I saw my GP, she was like, well, if you're gonna try it for a little bit, and otherwise they can give me like a medication that helps you ovulate more. But it seems so far that I'm ovulating on my own, so hopefully that will work itself out. But yeah, I don't know, like when I heard I had the PCOS, obviously that's not something you really want to hear, especially if you want to have kids. But then I mean, so that kind of worried me, but also I'm not super worried. I guess maybe also because I do have a midwifery degree and I have seen plenty of women with endometriosis and PCOS that fell pregnant like naturally. So I know it's possible, and I guess also knowing that my cycles are regular now and that I am ovulating, I think that's also a good sign. So I'm not trying to not stress about that too much, because I feel like there's not really too much of a point to try and stress about stuff you can't really control. So we'll just have to see kind of what happens. But yeah, obviously I'll take you along with that once it gets to that point. But yeah, for now, at least I know that my cycle is regular. The bleeding isn't bad either, so basically my period is only like 3 to 4 days. So that is also a lot better. Like it used to be like 7 at least, and like really heavy. And yeah, that's not really an issue now either. I don't know if also I use a cup, like a period cup, and I wonder if sometimes I feel like I bleed less with that, which is probably not true. But yeah, and there's less cramping, I feel like, with that than versus using tampons. So I mainly use that as well. But yeah, I don't know if there's any science behind that. Yeah, as I said, we do want kids, so we'll just have to see how things pan out and what's going to happen in that department. But yeah, if we get to that, I'll share about it on here as well. But I'll just have to see how early I'm going to share and stuff like that, what I'm going to share, because obviously I'm not the only person involved, so it's my partner, and he's, I don't know how much he wants to be out there, you know. So so we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, basically I did do some lifestyle changes. Obviously the protein, working out more, walking more. So I've pretty much been doing that for like the last year or so, because before that I was doing the shift work. I was working crazy hours. Also, I was sometimes not getting a lot of shifts at all. So then I didn't have money to really go and do other stuff. Couldn't really leave the house. So, and I'm not very good at doing the home workouts, to be honest. So, so like about a year and a half ago, I joined the gym again. I started working out more. I started walking more when I got my new job, my nanny job. I started walking like 2 hours a day almost. So I'm still trying to keep up with that. So I think just all of that kind of helps to hopefully regulate everything and, you know, be the healthiest I can be before having a baby, because that's going to take a lot on my body. So I'm just trying to like prepare for it in that way. So I've been pretty much doing that for the last year and a half. And yeah, so we'll just see when that's going to happen. I'm gonna end this video here because my battery is dying and it's flashing at me. But thank you for watching. If you have any more questions, please leave them down below in the comments. Or if you also have PCOS and you want to share your story, you're more than welcome to in the comments as well. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.